I am the only one from that basement office who made it out alive. And that's because I lost it. I went crazy with fear. I just had to get out. I was thinking of my 2 children growing up without their mother. My colleagues down there with me did not want to hear about that. I was just screaming. We saw on the security cameras what happened to the North Tower. We also got frantic calls on our radios from security officers who watched it burn. Then the second plane hit our building. We didn't know what it was. They tried to tell me the big explosion that knocked out our power and threw me on the floor was an elevator dropping. I knew better. You think I'm a fool? I said to the operations manager, Edward Coldren. I've been in this building for so many years, I know that is not an elevator dropping. I started to cry. It was like I was out of my mind. A Mother's Run for Her Life by Rosalind Broad is a story about a woman fighting for her life to get back to her 2 children in the 9/11 attack. The emergency lights kicked in. We could see again. I jumped up and grabbed my bag. Where are you going? Colden asked. I'm getting out of here, I said. Colden ran ahead and disappeared for a minute down the hall. When he came back, he looked like he had seen a ghost. Rose, don't go out there, he said. It's much safer in here. I have 2 children, I said. I don't want to die. Esmeralda Salgado turned and looked at me. He was a security guard. After the first plane hit, he came flying downstairs, threw his bag on the floor and started answering phones with the rest of us. Rose, he said, I have 4 kids. God bless them if you die, I told him. But you have a wife. Mine have nobody. I couldn't take it anymore. Screw this, I said. I'm leaving. I put my bag tightly over my shoulder and started walking down the dimly lit hall toward my key control room. No one tried to stop me. In the meantime, there had been an announcement on the radio from the police commander ordering everyone to evacuate the complex. Salgado called out to me. Let me take you out, he said. And he did. And I will tell you, he saved my life. Come on, you'll make it, Rose, he said. But I had no strength in my legs. I was so scared that I couldn't even get myself up the stairs. I was dead weight for him. I knew it. Finally, we came at a door by the shopping concourse. I looked around. People couldn't get through the revolving doors to Liberty Street because there was so much smoke. I have never seen fire like that. It was thick, with dark red and black colors. All I could hear were people hollering and the horrible sounds of panic. I turned to Salgado. Let's go, I said. Let's run. He hugged me. He was scared too. Rose, you go, he said. You come with me, I begged. No, I will be coming. You just go, he said. I have to let the guys in the control center know how bad it is up here. I looked around. There were so many people running. Somehow, seeing them gave me strength. I started running with them, leaving Salgado behind. I think he headed back downstairs, but I didn't wait to see. I can only imagine what it must have been like for him back down in the operations control center. When the first plane hit, I had just finished reading my daily Word and was reaching for the newspaper on a nearby desk. It was a slow time every morning after 8:30. I worked at 5:30 when we had a roll call for the security guards, 1 floor lower on B2, the second underground level. There was probably about 100 of us there that morning. They called off our names, and for those who didn't have a regular assignment, they announced their duties for the day. I walked directly upstairs to the key control room, where I had been handing out keys for 6 years. It was a good job. When the plane hit, the basement trembled and the screen on my computer started to blink. I turned down the music I had been listening to and turned up the radio. There was a lot of screaming on the radio by officers out in the street who had seen the plane crash. "Oh my God, an airplane just hit that building!" One of them shouted. Another officer, Amana Alam, we know her as Jones, who worked on the 22nd floor where we had a security center with surveillance monitors, was yelling hysterically. I went down the hall towards the operations control center, and right away, the phone started ringing. Most of the calls were from people trapped in their offices, but there were some from people wanting to know what was happening. There was a box on the wall above the console for communicating with the elevators. If you pressed the button, you could speak. The elevator buzzers were going off constantly. People were trapped and didn't know what to do. They pleaded with us to get them out. The monitors to the outdoor security cameras were showing bodies falling out of windows. At first, I thought it was only paper, but then I realized they were people too. I stopped looking at the monitors. I didn't want to see that. Oh my God, it was so awful. When I spoke to people on the phone, I tried to calm them down. That wasn't easy, because I was so nervous. My hands were so sweaty that the phone kept slipping from my grip. At some point, my friend Marie called. She was a security officer on the 22nd floor. She was crying. I could hear the fire roaring in the background. "Rose, if I don't make it, please help my children," she said. Thank God she made it out, and so did Jones. A firefighter got there in time and broke the wall down with an axe. I took calls from the outside too. People couldn't reach their relatives in the tower, so they were calling us. I feel bad, but I had to curse one of them out and hang up on her. She was crazy and shouting at me. Her sister worked in building 1. The last person I spoke to was a woman up in the building tower. I can't remember her name. It won't come to my head. But I wrote it down with the others along with her floor and building numbers. I can still hear her voice. "Please, please send someone to help me," she begged. "I can't breathe. The smoke is coming under the door. Please help me. Oh, it's getting worse. Please do something." My God, what does someone do? I told her that I would do my best to help her, whatever that meant. I honestly don't know. When suddenly, there was a huge explosion. The second plate hit my building. We shook so much that I was thrown off my feet and was slammed hard on the floor. I had gone berserk. "Oh my God, what is going on? Oh my God!" I shouted. That's when they started telling me it was just an elevator dropping, that I should stop screaming. I didn't believe the story about the elevator, and neither did they. I've already told you what happened next. Once I was up in the shopping concourse after leaving Salcedo, I had some more hard times. As I was running to get outside, someone pushed me into another woman. My whole shirt was feeling wet, and when I looked down, I saw it was soaked in blood. I started to scream, and I looked at the woman. Her arm was practically gone. She had flesh hanging from the bone. I could see the bone so clearly. That made me freak out again. I screamed uncontrollably and was running in circles. I didn't know what to say. My whole world was spinning out of control. I started running again. The last thing I remember was dropping to the ground. When I woke up, I was in the hospital in Brooklyn. They were asking me my name, and I was crying. "Who do you want us to call?" one of the nurses asked. I started to think about my sister, Pam, who worked at 5 World Trade Center. Oh my God, I wonder if she made it. Thinking of them helped keep me alive. Besides, I wasn't hurt too badly. I injured a disc in my back, and there was tightness in my chest, but I wasn't burnt or severely bruised. My pain was somewhere else, and it still is. My heart, it hurts so bad.